All right, well, thanks you guys for coming. I'm Kim Abbott. I serve as Minority Leader in the House, and today Senator Lynch, who represents Butte in the Senate, he's pinch hitting for an injured Senate Minority Leader. Pat Flowers suffered a Achilles heel injury in a pickleball game, and I told him I was going to make several jokes at his expense today, so I look forward to that, and you can too. Just kidding. We're actually here for a serious topic. As you know, the last several years, the Republican legislative branch has been in a full-throated attack on the judicial branch. We've seen a cycle that has involved Republican legislators who have the majority and now have the governor's office passing unconstitutional legislation. Montanans challenged that legislation in court, and eventually the Supreme Court has corrected that cycle by ruling those policies unconstitutional. Instead of reflecting and maybe changing their approach to policy and acknowledging that Montanans have been challenging this legislation, we've seen them just engage in an attack on a co-equal and independent branch of government. And that has concerned us. We've been vocal about the fact that that's concerned us. We're here today because President Ellsworth's Special Select Committee, that is another attack on the judicial branch, is meeting today. As you all know, Democrats have decided not to participate in this committee for a variety of reasons, but not the least of which is the premise that underlies the committee we don't agree with. They're using language about a co-equal independent branch of government that is simply not true. Democrats don't agree. The judicial branch can defend itself and explain their role in our government for itself, but Democrats aren't going to be part of an unconstitutional breach of separation of powers, and we're certainly not going to engage in going after an independent branch of government. I will say that I think Montanans are worried about single-party control. I think Montanans over the years have really appreciated a balanced government where they've had Republicans in control of the legislative branch, Democrats in control of the executive branch, and that's really provided a balance. We've seen that balance collapse in the last couple cycles, and I think that'll course correct. But I think Montanans recognize that the court is an important part of our government. The checks and balances that we depend on and our constitutional rights and freedoms depend on are central to the way that we do business in the state of Montana. And I think that what we've seen over and over again in polling is that the judicial branch, specifically the Supreme Court, is the branch of government that's has the most favorability from Montanans, certainly a lot more favorable, unfortunately, for us than the legislative branch. So today, I'm going to kick it over to Senator Lynch for some comments, but today we really just wanted to answer any questions you have about the fact that we're not participating in this select committee and make sure that we're clear about why. So much.
Thank you, Representative Abbott. Again, Ryan Lynch, I'm out of Butte, and I wish I could say I was happy to be here today, but I think it's a sad day for Montana. And I do send my apologies from Senator Flowers. He'd hoped to make it today, but was unable to due to some prior commitments. And Kim can jab him a little bit more than I'll be kind to Senator Flowers. So I think that the biggest thing I think we're here to recognize is that there are three branches of government, and I see on the agenda today that we had Constitution 101, and it's unfortunate that a number of the members who've all been around didn't go to law school for legislators that's been given every single session. It's a very simple process. They can go. The University of Montana puts on a hearing or a school for us, and it's nice to see that they actually are trying to get caught up to speed and understand what the Constitution is and understand what the court's role within the Constitution is. But it's nice to see that that the president put that on the agenda. So that being said, I think that the reality of it is the court's done its job and the court continues to do its job. The court doesn't go looking for work. When the court responds to something, it's because a citizen has brought it in front of the court. And I think that's pretty plain and simple. That the court's never gone out and actually found work for itself. It's not out selling stuff and drumming up business. The court's responding to conflicts that are inherent, that are designed and built within the Constitution. So I think all in all, that certainly there's the majority party can have their hearing, they can have their process. At the end of the day, it's really about respecting Montanans, it's about respecting the Constitution, and it's about what's doing right for the state.
Yeah, I think with that, we'll probably just take questions if anyone has them. Jonathan.
So Kim, as I recall, you guys did participate in the last select committee on the Judiciary after 21 session. What's different about this time around? Why not do the same thing this time?
Yeah, that's a good question. So that committee was formed while we were in session. So it was an official special select committee where House participation was official. The charter on that one was different than the charter on this one. We participated in that one. I can speak for myself. Senator Sands, then Senator Sands also participated. It was a very frustrating 3 meetings, and we released a separate minority report. And, you know, this time around, between the language that the president used when establishing the committee and the fact that we have done this before, and it's just a cycle of attacking an independent branch, we chose not to participate.
Do you have any concerns not participating this time, that you wouldn't have the same sort of ability like to produce that minority report last time, or just you being involved sort of serving firsthand?
Yeah, we Senator Flowers and I actually spent quite a bit of time talking about that, and we came down with this decision because we couldn't participate in something that was so broken out of the gate. It felt like we were almost conceding to the premise of the committee by participating in it, and that's why we came down on the side of not participating.
Sort of that same question. I asked President Holdsworth this, but it sort of seems like we're in a cycle of laws made, court overturns it, Republicans are mad about it. Is there legitimate gripes within that you guys see beyond just we disagree with the court's opinion? Is there anything you see that could come from this that would be legitimate?
And I'll let Senator Lynch weigh in on this too, since it's about the Senate president, but the judicial branch is accountable to voters just like the executive or the legislative branch. From justice of the peace straight up to the Supreme Court, these are judges that run for election, just like legislators and just like executive branch offices. And, you know, that's the accountability to the public. And Republicans can certainly answer the question about what their grievances are, but you know, we have a process and checks and balances for a reason, and the accountability is with the voters of Montana.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
You addressed this a little bit in your opening remarks, but both the party chair of the Republican Party and President Ellsworth have criticized you guys for not properly representing your constituents. What's your response to them?
Our members go to interim committees. They go to Law and Justice Interim Committee, which is the committee that's charged with exactly this topic. If you want to know whether this is a political stunt, you can look at the redundancy of it. You can look at Law and Justice, and you can look at, you know, the law school for legislators that we offer every single session for folks. And the bottom line is, our folks are participating in interim committees. We're participating in everything that isn't just a straight out political stunt. And I think if you want to look at that, you can look at Democrats responding to veto override polls. You know, you can look at the way that we're engaging, and the way that we're engaging in a transparent and on the record way.
How do you feel like, just with both your lenses being long-time legislators, like what does this moment feel like to you in terms of, of course, Republicans, Democrats, and the committee is about policy. We've seen those disagreements, especially about all sorts of things. Does this feel any different to you than past moments about just disagreements that you generally have as a person doing business?
Yeah.
Sure. I think the difference now is historically, since both Representative Abbott and I have been here, there's been a Democrat on the second floor, and so, you know, a lot of conversations with moderates. They'd say, "Oh, well, we have to vote for this. We know it's unconstitutional, but the governor will veto it." When we got a guy on the second floor, it's going to change. Well, now there are guys on the second floor, and they say, "Oh, now it's the court's problem," and then we're going to attack the court for doing the job that we you know, as those moderates, they intrinsically know they shouldn't be passing the bill. They shouldn't be voting for something unconstitutional. I know George and Hannah and some of our staff there's some work being done on some of the bills that are unconstitutional with notes, and kind of what the in-game or outcome was of it. So I think it's a different, you know, the tone is certainly different. The rhetoric stepped up a whole bunch. It's a lot more partisan power grab, and I think, you know, Montanans they love their constitution, and they're leery of a uniparty running the state.
And it's an election year, that's obviously a factor in some of all of this, but how do you guys keep your message up in terms of how you view this whole thing and everything that's been going on with the courts and the Republicans. When you're not participating, what's the calculus there, how that works, and how you want voters to see that?
I think our candidates talk directly with their voters. Judicial candidates will talk directly with voters, and our message has been clear. We need to strengthen our healthcare system, not destroy it. And we've watched this administration kick 120,000 people off of healthcare in a flawed and broken process that they should be ashamed of and they should be trying to fix. We need to reduce property taxes in a permanent and targeted way. And we need to tackle affordable housing. And that's where our focus is. That's what our candidates are going to be talking about. This, whether Republicans' unconstitutional laws are overturned by the court is not something that I hear out on the doors from voters. And I certainly don't hear when I'm talking to voters that they want more partisanship. They're worried about whether they can afford their house and whether they can get their kid health care. Anything else? Thanks for coming, you guys. Enjoy the second half of this. Did you have one more?
No.
Oh, I thought you were
No.
just weekly. No, appreciate y'all coming. Thank you.
Thank you guys.